right.
All right.
Hey, good night, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Long time no see.
Yeah, sorry for my voice. My nose is a bit blocked, so I'm going to talk a bit nasal today. Welcome also to the audience in our app, of course, but also on Instagram and on YouTube.
Exactly. Because, right there is our audience on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and first and foremost, our app, because that's where also most of the interaction is going to take place, where there's the opportunity to ask questions in the Q&A and a dedicated chat. And then right there, if we're not looking at you, first time that we're also live on Instagram. I hope you can hear us all right. If you want to have the best experience, just download our app for free at physiotutors.app and join us there. So yeah, Kai, it's good to be back. We just had our dinner, so we're nice and stuffed.
The usual Indian butter
Exactly.
chicken.
Butter chicken. So
Shout out to the girlfriends who are complaining about the garlic naan
exactly,
later on.
exactly. So that's been taken care of. And as usual, we have a couple of segments for these hangouts. So we want to share because the last time we did a hangout was 1st of May, so quite some months ago. And we want to share, the latest developments, what has happened over here, what have we done, what is planned, what have we released that you may have missed. If you don't check in regularly or if you're not subscribed to our email updates. But also, to get some feedback from every one of you who do use our app on, how your experience has been, share any and all thoughts, also feature wishes, and just to do some chit chat.
Yeah, so first and foremost, it's about getting in touch with the audience. So if you have any questions, professional, personal, whatever you want to ask us, feel free. I have no idea how this is going to work on Instagram because I can see people are joining and waving, and
we have no way.
It's going
we
so
can't.
quickly that I don't think we're going to be able to answer questions on Instagram, but we'll try. I'll keep an eye on YouTube questions. We'll definitely see the questions in the app on Vimeo.
I'll see if I can manage to pull up Instagram here also on the laptop, and maybe we can find some questions. Okay.
The last hangout was almost exactly 4 months ago, so a lot has happened since then. Let's give you a little bit of an overview while Andreas is running around in the office. As you might know, we have a lot of live events. Last Wednesday, I had a Q&A session with Benno and Matt. Wave therapy and MSK physiotherapy. And as you might know, you can watch back all of the Q&A events in the app. Also, we had an event in July with Claire Robertson on adolescent patellofemoral pain. In June, about somatic tinnitus with Sarah Michiels from Belgium. And in May, about thoracic outlet syndrome with Thomas Mitchell. Do you want to continue? My nose is like killing me. It's like so blocked.
Yeah, all right.
Let
me just turn that off and cut back to here. No, maybe first of all, why did I go? It wasn't charging, so I had to get another charger for the laptop. Otherwise, it would have gone black. To
interrupt you, there was actually a question about thoracic outlet syndrome symptoms. And as we just mentioned, we had this Q&A session with Thomas Mitchell about thoracic outlet syndrome. But in the app, we also recorded a masterclass on thoracic outlet syndrome where all of the symptoms are covered. So if you are curious about thoracic outlet syndrome, go to app.physiotutors.com, either on the desktop or download it on the Play Store or App Store, and enjoy the lecture it's free. So
yeah, so yeah, right here, the top row, that's essentially what has happened since 1st of May, starting with the TOS lecture with Thomas Mitchell. We had a lecture on somatosensory tinnitus with Sarah Michiels. You might notice a pattern. Most of these people we've also recorded a podcast with, and we invite them to elaborate more in detail on the specifics of the topic we discuss in the podcast in a masterclass. So up next, we had an adolescent PFP lecture with Claire Robertson, who's also done an online course with us on patellofemoral pain and Hoffa's fat pet syndrome. She did a lecture with us once during our online sports conference where she discussed plyometrics in adolescent PFP. And she has a more elaborate masterclass with us on the app. And then the latest one that we released, it's a bit more of a, I'd say, nerdy lecture on injury prevention or risk reduction in sports, and titled From Prevention to Robustness with the great Nickel van Dijk. It's a pretty extensive and long lecture. So yeah, again, Kai said it, feel free to check it out for free on the app. Either go to app.physiotutors.com or download our free app on the app stores.
yeah, I just read a question about first treatment with patients, but the questions are coming in so quickly, and the notifications on Instagram, that it's impossible for us to read it. So if you have a question, make sure to ask it in the app, because there we can see all of the questions that are coming in. There's also a question in the app about how to treat urinary incontinence. I don't think it's our expertise to talk about it, because I'm sure that can have a lot of causes. I'd say this is really a question for a pelvic floor physiotherapist. Yeah, as far as I know, it can have to do with overactivity of the pelvic floor muscles, but also underactivity. But that's like my 2 cents of someone who has little knowledge in the pelvic floor area. So sorry, I have to pass on that.
Yeah, there's no way we can check those questions coming in on the Instagram live stream. So come and join us on the app. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, there's a question on YouTube.
That's
possible.
great.
So,
all right, let's hear it.
Okay, Faisal asks, what are your guys' thoughts on MRIs for low back pain patients? Where lies the barrier to prescribe one? We also had I think it was a podcast with Andrew Cuff
on imaging in
Yes.
musculoskeletal practice.
I would really recommend you to check out that podcast, because Andrew wrote or did his PhD on the topic of imaging in musculoskeletal patients. And I think personally in the clinic, we know that about 1 to 2% are like the real red flags in low back pain, and about 10% have like an underlying neurological reason, like neurological claudication or the nerve root lesions. And in the case that these are very progressive, then I would refer to the GP, who would probably take an MRI or have an MRI taken, because those people would be eligible candidates for surgery. Also, the 1 or 2% category, probably where it might be cancer or cauda equina. I think these are probably going to end up being operated on and also have an MRI image. For the rest, it is, yeah, in most cases not necessary, and it can do more harm than good because of several reasons. One being, radiation, not in the MRI, but it's a CT scan, and others being nocebos being created, or also coming across a lot of asymptomatic findings that are not very well explained. And we also have a good blog article that I wrote quite a long time ago. if you search for imaging, I think
Hmm.
you know which one I'm referring to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can find it.
Yeah, I'll go and look for it.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. I don't know if you have any more
No,
things
I
to
just
add.
remember from the podcast with Andrew as well that, despite all of this knowledge, that the rate of imaging is still increasing in MSK practice. So while evidence shows that we imaging is usually not of added value in most cases, that there's still an increase in the rate that imaging is requested for MSK conditions.
Yeah, there's another comment from Hackmat. Chronic low back pain. I don't know if you're referring to the question that we just answered. I don't think in chronic conditions it makes more sense uh, because it's in chronic conditions or chronic low back pain. The problem is rather the sensitization of the whole nervous system. So it has even less to do with a structural damage than it has to do with the nervous system. So yeah, if you suspect that there's really a serious pathology or progressing neurological loss, then yes. But yeah, it doesn't have added value to have a structural diagnosis, be it disc or a disc issue or facet joint or whatever. It's not going to change your management. So if imaging doesn't change management, then it's just a waste.
Yeah.
Okay.
More questions?
Yeah. Just comments. So I think.
Okay, just
Okay.
comments.
Cool. Faisal says he'll watch the podcast. Yeah, watch it on YouTube or listen to it in the app. You can also listen to almost all of our podcast episodes in different languages. We oh man, sorry, I'm seeing question on Instagram, but it's
Yeah,
impossible to read them. It goes so
it's
fast.
moving so fast because people keep joining and waving, and so if there's questions, it's just so far away the iPad we can't reach, and I don't want to move it.
Yeah. And yeah, you can listen to the podcast episodes in your own language. So yeah, for a lot of people in their own language. So we've translated the podcast into German, Dutch, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese. What
Yeah,
am I forgetting?
that's
Yeah,
it.
those are basically the languages.
I got a new badge. I'm a listener level 2.
And someone's joining from Turkey, I see, and maybe a good information for you. The app will also be available in Turkish pretty soon.
Yeah, it
So,
should be with the coming update, but more on that later.
All right. No more questions so far, so I think you can continue, and I can.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
hoping
breathe.
my
You can
nose
breathe.
unblocks itself. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we already mentioned all of the master classes that we released, and we have this quarterly hangout. But for every master class or lecture that we release, we also have a coupled Q&A. So usually in the same month that we release, because we release a new lecture on the first Saturday of each month, we follow that up with a live Q&A session. So also in this case, we had a Q&A session on somatic tinnitus, thoracic outlet syndrome, adolescent PFP, and then the latest one, we did have a special one with Benoit Matthew on shockwave in musculoskeletal practice. So you can also go back into the app and then watch the recording for these Q&A sessions on the app or on the website.
Okay. There's another question. I don't think I have a really great answer for that. I don't think it matters. I have flat feet and squat with bare feet.
I do that
Just
too.
wondering if I need to squeeze my arch up during the squat or just let it flat, or should I wear the shoes? I don't know what your goal is. Is it to squat as much as possible? I don't think your feet or your foot arch makes a huge difference. I think if you want to correct your foot arch, then the go-to is exercises, but also in more severe cases and also depending on age, it's insoles. So not sure what your goal is here. I think if you want to improve your your squat, it doesn't matter. If you want to fix your arch, then the younger you are, the better the chances you can get this done with exercises. For the older population, it's probably not the exercise that can treat it as a sole intervention, but you might also want to see a podiatrist and get insoles. All right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. In other content updates, we publish weekly research reviews. So our research editor, Ellen, she reviews current literature. And every Monday, you can start your week right with a concise research review. So we've actually, in the past 3 months, published a lot. So there's like 12 new research reviews. Just as an overview, there's quite some stuff on the wrist region because we know that content around wrist and hand disorders or research was on the lower count. So we've published quite some 3 research reviews on topics regarding the wrist and hand. There was something around frozen shoulder in post mastectomy patients, quite something also on running. There's a really nice one on conservative management on osteoarthritis, which we also posted about yesterday and today on our Instagram. We posted a carousel with an extensive caption, which was an excerpt from this research review. So yeah, really go check it out. You get a weekly notification once we publish a new research review. And on the app, you can even listen to the research review. So if you're not a fan of reading or you are on the go, you can start your Monday and listen to the research review also in currently all of the languages that the app is available in. So you can listen to it in English, Dutch, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese, and soon also in Turkish. But that's a premium feature on the app.
Do you want to jump to the Vimeo chat?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no questions on the chat on the app. Oh yeah, the blog. No, not to forget. We also published how many blogs? 3, I think. Yeah. There was 3 blogs that we published on the app, or actually 4. One was a sort of summary of our lecture on thoracic outlet syndrome. Ellen, she wrote a blog on what we can learn from the 30-second chair stand test. She actually had everyone in the team do a 30-second sit to stand test and count the reps, so she could have some data that she can use in the blog post. And yeah, I wrote, because I'm a bit of the AI nerd here at Physiotutors, I wrote 2 blog posts about our own clinical assistant AI chatbot that you can use also for free on our app, ChatCPG. So I would run one blog post around, I think the role of AI in physiotherapy practice, and also how we start deploying AI as a tool to help you as a physio, whether you're a student or a practicing clinician. And then also I wrote a blog post on how you can best utilize it, because from the usage data, we can see that the way people interact with AI is not natural to a lot of them, because essentially what this tool should allow you to do is to converse with it just like you would talk to another person. But the way people write their prompts, what you want to the AI to do can be improved. So I wrote a blog post outlining best practices on how you can get the most out of this really powerful tool. So yeah, go check it out. ChatCPG on our app. Also in product updates, we're continuously improving the model. So it's gotten an improvement to provide more accurate and more sophisticated results for your queries. So there's always going to be improvements running in the back end. What else do we have? Yeah, we discussed the masterclasses, the research reviews, upcoming events. We do have a content schedule. So if you're on your Discover feed on the app and you scroll down to the upcoming events banner, you can see a content calendar. You see we're currently live on Hangout number 7. But on September 18th, we're joined by Anthony Tioli, who also recorded a masterclass with us that we're going to publish on Saturday about knee osteoarthritis. You might know Anthony from his social media presence as Info Physiotherapy, and he recorded a nice masterclass about knee osteoarthritis that you can watch on Saturday. And if you have questions, you can go into the event and you can already submit your questions by clicking this button on the banner and ask your questions about either after watching the masterclass, about the masterclass, or questions you have about assessment, treatment, really anything around knee osteoarthritis, and then you can join for free on September 18th at 7 p.m. CET. Yeah, Kai, what's happening at Physiotutors? What has happened in 3 months?
I was on holidays.
True, Kai was on holidays. I had to run the ship on my own.
It was more like a family visit. But
yeah,
a big thing was to get all of our online courses accredited in the Netherlands again. So for all of the Dutch viewers out there, and it's quite a community, all of our courses are re-accredited or accredited anew. And that's also a reminder that at least in the Netherlands, the accreditation period is coming to an end. It's a 5-year period, and you have 4 months left to get all of your accreditation points in. And otherwise, you lose your license. So, and I think following an online course is probably the easiest and one of the best ways to not only learn and become better, but also to make sure you, get all of the required points so you can practice as a physio next year and from 2025 on again.
Yeah.
Or you keep on practicing.
Exactly. And if you want the cheapest price per point, we're right here. So yeah.
There's actually a good question about AI. Job Driesen,
Okay.
who's probably Dutch or Belgian, I guess. Driesen, I think, is Belgian.
Okay.
Could be both. Don't you think AI will give patients inaccurate information about their complaints?
Yes. Hence why, with every tool, and you see that they give an explicit warning that the information that the AI can produce can be inaccurate. You know, if you go to ChatGPT and you ask it no matter what. But I think the same goes for before the advent of AI. If you went to some random website that ranked well on Google for a keyword, there's still so much inaccurate information out there that receives the top rank in Google searches. And I mean, AI is trained on this entire data set, so it then provides that information to you. But hence why we have a proprietary data set. Our AI tool does not access the entirety of the internet or whatever. It's a proprietary data set of clinical guidelines, etc., to aggregate the best evidence-based answers for the queries. But yeah, I mean, AI can hallucinate and can come up with some funky stuff. and wrong answers. Hence, why it's also always in the the user is required to verify that information. But I think that's not a problem of AI. It's been a problem even before AI. The stuff that people found by googling their complaint, you know.
Yeah. So
Right? I asked what is it, WebMD, about my shoulder pain, and apparently I have cancer. Right? That's that meme. Yeah.
I think the general advice that we give out to students, especially to stay critical about what their clinical instructor tells them or what the teachers tell them, applies here as well. So
Absolutely.
you ask a question, you get feedback, or you get an answer, and you still have to be critical. And but yeah, I think it can give you guidance.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a powerful tool, and hence also why we're continuously trying to improve the model. We're monitoring. Okay, what is it outputting? We're trying to sharpen it when it does not give accurate information. But it's also, our model is set up in a way that it stays within boundaries that we set. So yeah, I'd argue that, and we've tested it, that the information it outputs versus standard ChatGPT that you can access for free, ours is more accurate and reliable.
All right. Yeah. What else is happening? You told me that we have accreditation in Germany and Austria as well.
Yes. I mean, we were able to provide CPD certificates specialized for Germany or German physios, but essentially we also comply with the requirements to do the same for physios in Austria. So our online courses, they are set up in a way that it complies with the rules and regulations regarding, the so-called Fortbildungspunkte, and we can provide students who complete a course with a specialized certificate that holds all of the information necessary. So that's new.
Yeah, I think this is also something. I mean, we kind of announced it with the last Hangout as well. It's something we're working on in the app as well, as a premium feature, to offer the opportunity to get certificates for every content piece that you consume and complete. So, for example, if you watch a masterclass, you pass a quiz that we want to embed, or you complete a podcast, there's going to be a certificate, because we know in some countries it's more important than in others to have certificates on the stuff that you do concerning your continuing education. And also there's going to be a portfolio function where you can see what you've or where you can see your whole learning activity in the app, but also an overview about not only the activity but all of the certificates that you've ever received from us. So but that's for the near future. So
exactly, we want to centralize your entire CPD activities and give a nice overview there as well. With overhauls, our website is also, or accreditation. Let's stick with CPD and accreditation, because we are setting the first steps to also get accreditation in Italy, as well as in France. So the Agence DCP in France, and then also accreditation points in Italy for all of our courses. So that's in the works. But give us some time until we can complete this.
There's another question.
Yeah, go ahead. It's on YouTube.
To understand it. Hi guys, what are your opinions on whether we should treat what you see based on patient symptoms, for example, pain and function deficit, or goals based on objective assessment, or focus more on diagnosis? Diagnosis, I think yeah, if you make a diagnosis, say on an ICD basis, for example, knee osteoarthritis, that doesn't tell you anything about what you should treat. So I think, or even if your diagnosis is a syndrome like TOS that we talked about, it doesn't necessarily tell you how to treat that. I mean, there's guidelines or there's research reviews or RCTs that tell you like a certain intervention might work for a certain condition. But of course, you always uh, want to look at the deficits you get from your assessment. So you always want to look at, okay, what can this patient do? What am I finding during my assessment? And work on those if they relate to the goals they have and if they relate to the complaints they have. So let's say with the knee osteoarthritis example, if someone says, I want to be able to do grocery shopping and I have to walk a kilometer, and those patients cannot do it, then your job is to figure out, okay, what is preventing this person? Is it pain? Is it their conditioning? And build up from there. So, yeah, you never treat a diagnosis. It's also why there's the saying, don't treat the pathology, treat the
Yeah,
patient
yeah,
or the person.
exactly.
So, yeah, if it was that simple, then someone could just look up exercises for XYZ or treatment for XYZ and follow that. But it's always focused on the person in front of you, and their goals will be different. And also their levels of irritability will be different. Their levels of pain will be different. Deficits will be different. So always focus on that, and that's all on the ICF domain. And you don't treat the diagnosis.
Yeah, it was the good clinician treats the disease, and
Yeah,
the great clinician treats the person who has the disease.
yeah.
Those
Is
are,
it? Yeah.
yeah.
There's another question with the Physiotutors app. Do you get discounts on your courses? No, doesn't have to do like those two are really different products. The courses are really in depth, sometimes almost 50-hour content pieces that are basically online versions or extended online versions of what you might find during 2-day offline courses. Just with a cheaper price and usually more extensive, and you can enjoy it from home. The app is a freemium product as well, so most of the content, or basically all of the content, can be consumed for free. Um, and for the premium content, like the masterclasses and the research reviews and the tools, we have created a credit system. So at the beginning of every month, you get 15 credits and you can use them for premium content. And for example, a masterclass costs 7 credits, so you could potentially watch 2 masterclasses per month if you want to use a tool for 24 hours, or a certain section of a tool that costs you 1 credit, and so on. So yeah, you can check it out. In any case, even 7 days for free with all the premium functions, but the basic functions are free. And the premium version is like the cost is country specific, but in general, in a European country, will be more or less 10 euros per month or 100 euros per year. So
Exactly.
yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the courses at the moment. Um, and it's also different platforms. In the future, we hope that we can move the courses also.
To the same platform as the app.
Yes.
So then you'll also be able to consume app content and courses on the same platform, and ideally also from within the app. But I just posted a discount code in the app chat. So if you want to grab that discount code, be quick, download the app, go to this event on the Discover feed, and you can snag the discount code for. So it's kind of like you get a discount when you have the app.
Yeah, for the online courses.
Exactly, for the online courses.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, yeah, we talked about accreditation. So we are working on accreditation in Italy and France. So yeah, that's another thing on the agenda. And we've said it earlier, and we have to say it again. The website that we currently have, and that you might know, is getting a massive overhaul. It's almost completed. Working on the last bits, so it's always taking longer than expected. But we want to get it done in a nice way, and yeah, it's going to look so much better. So this is a little bit of an appetizer that you just showed.
Yeah, I'm going to show it now. So parts of the website already have the new jacket. So, for example, there's a dedicated page for our masterclasses. So this gives you a bit of an impression of how the new website is going to look like. So yeah, if you want to check out the masterclasses, you can do so here as well.
Yeah, the question that came about the courses is from Grandmaster Ferk, who just added, thanks for the response. I'm newly qualified and will be focusing on CPD, so I will be doing your courses. I'll also have a look at the app. I owe you guys for passing my MSK modules. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I'd say like the app is your everyday companion. That's how you can see that. It's like where you can get all of our content.
Exactly. It's a central hub of everything you need. Yeah.
At your fingertips, may it be on the way to work, in the tram, or when you come home from work on a couch. So you can get maybe the smaller content pieces, even though the masterclasses are quite extensive, and the online courses are like really big courses. So that's how you can see it. I think you'll actually enjoy both. Yeah, I mean we are biased, of course, but yeah, the app is our love child. So that's like we've put like all of our energy and also money
Yeah.
that Physiotutors ever created into that project, because we believe there should be something awesome out there for, yeah, to make essentially make physios better, or clinicians better every day, and that's the tool that we believe in to accomplish that goal.
And we're just getting started. There's a whole list of features and additional tools and content that we want to include in that app. And yeah, we would value your input as well. So don't feel free to reach out if you have wishes or ideas. And yeah, we're always happy to chat and get to know what your needs are.
Okay. There's an add-on about the diagnosis question.
Okay.
If they have pain in the knee, but if without distinguishing between patellofemoral pain or fat pad syndrome, the management of pain might not be effective due to their MOI difference. What's the
mechanism of injury?
Yeah. I mean, in those cases, first of all, they are both syndromes, so they are not clear-cut diagnoses. But yeah, if you know, or if you suspect one of those, yeah, your treatment will be different. But at the end of the day, you're still looking at deficits people might have that you treat. So you might know with fat pad that extension is irritating or typically irritating. So you might want to avoid that. In fat pad, you also might want to ice the fat pad. Like icing is kind of frowned upon nowadays, but if you talk to Claire Robertson, she's going to tell you that icing works really well in fat pad syndrome. So yeah, based on the diagnosis or the syndrome that you suspect, you can derive certain treatment approaches. But at the end of the day, you're still gonna look at what the deficits are and where the patient is based on their irritability and deficits. So you're also going to look at the hips, treat hip function, for example, and so on. And so yeah, it can give you guidance. I agree on that if you make a diagnosis. But still, at the end of the day, you're looking at, okay, what can I find during my objective assessment? What can people do? What can they not do? And take it from there. Hope this helps.
Good stuff.
Okay, moving on. Go ahead.
Yeah. So since Kai's been back from holidays,
Just gonna
go ahead. We've recorded now 2 new podcast episodes. and really, really cool episodes. I mean, I do the post production for the podcast, and the next upcoming one is with Adele Fanning on the sporting shoulder, and after that we have a podcast with. Is it already the one with Serena?
That's going to be published. You mean?
Yeah.
Next one
is
to be
Adele?
published. Yeah, Idel.
And
then we have
then Nick
an
Fink
episode on ultrasound.
Exactly, Nick Fink on MSK ultrasound, and then after that is Serena Simmons on behavior change and creating patient buy-in and adherence to therapy. Really fantastic episode. I was really happy when editing this one. And then recently on Friday with Anita Schmidt about neuropathies. Right? Yeah. Entrapment neuropathies. Also an interesting episode to look forward to. And then on Friday, we record another one with Daniel Belavi on lumboradicular syndrome, right?
No, it's a low back pain. But with Daniel Belavi, we've had so many studies throughout the years that we used in our videos. He has really cool and interesting stuff like disc herniations in astronauts, for example. So really interesting projects that he worked on. So we'll be mainly talking about his research on low back pain. So just to add to Chuck Kwong Carver Kam, I hope I pronounced your name properly, more or less.
Butchered.
Yeah. So with the diagnosis part, I'll always try to reach a diagnosis somehow, because also patients like to know what they have. So of course I'll try to distinguish between PFP, fat pad syndrome, or if it's something else in the knee. Of course I try to do that, and it does give me direction. So I know this and this might be effective or an effective approach in this syndrome. But sometimes it's not possible to reach a diagnosis, or you can tell them, look, I suspect this and that, or I suspect this structure might be affected. But your treatment is really tailored towards the deficits that you find during your assessment, and also based on their goals. So of course, look to reach a diagnosis. But if you have a diagnosis, it doesn't necessarily tell you how to treat someone or what this person might need. So I hope this clarifies it a bit. All right. Podcast.
Yeah. So that's all. That's all done. That's all done. Let me see. Maybe quickly overhaul of our ebook. The assessment ebook is almost completed. Really looking forward to take delivery of that. And then hopefully with the next update also be able to publish a Dutch version of the ebook, and then hopefully down the line also transition this new layout into a new print version. But that's probably really going to look different than from what we currently publish via Amazon. Our team grew intensely. Yes. So on Fridays, we at noon we always have a weekly stand-up with the Physiotutors team, and before it was usually like 4 people in that meeting, and now we are 12, 13 people almost in that Friday meeting. So there's tons of recent graduates of our students of the European School of Physiotherapy in Amsterdam who joined the team, just to help us in the workforce, to work on certain projects, help us just with the ever increasing workloads here at Physiotutors. And it's really cool. Like usually when we're here in the office, there's 1 or 2 other people here as well. So it's not only Kai and I sitting in front of our computers. So it also helps with a more social environment here at the Physiotutors HQ.
As you can hear, the dog is.
Bowie is still here.
The office dog
thriving.
So, barking at ghosts.
Yeah,
we also have the section things in the physio world that caught our attention.
exactly.
I was a bit absent, but still, I think this is an interesting study from Agricola this year, who looked at thigh morphology, and there was still or is still a remaining question: does thigh lead to hip OA? And I think so far there wasn't much evidence, but what he found is that a thigh morphology is strongly associated with hip OA, and I haven't looked into the depth of the study, because what was surprising is that there was only a small group uh, of people who had thigh morphology, which I think in the studies that we read before,
Mhm.
a lot of soccer players, right, dancers, they had the thigh morphology. I'm pretty sure if you look at my hips in an X-ray,
Yeah.
it's probably going to have some sort of pincer or cam morphology or both. So in their study, it was only a small group, but the odds ratio. So if you're familiar with research, odds ratio of 6.85. If you have a thigh morphology, the odds ratio increases 6.85 to develop radiographic hip OA, and that's huge. So an odds ratio of 7 is huge, and that's also due to the small group. It's 47.82, so that's absolutely astronomical to develop end stage OA. So
And what was the confidence interval on that?
yeah, it's
It's pretty
probably
small.
huge.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, 81% of people who had a thigh morphology moved on to develop radiographic OA. Doesn't say anything about clinical OA, so doesn't have to go hand in hand with complaints. But 33% of those with a thigh morphology moved on to develop end stage OA. So yeah, if you have a thigh morphology, or if you have someone with the syndrome, yeah, there might be some evidence that these people move on to, that they might end up with a hip replacement. So there is some emerging evidence. It was an interesting study. I'll look into the details, and I think Ellen is also writing a review about it.
Yeah, she is. She's writing a review about it, and also recommending one of the earlier episodes we recorded together with Mike Ryman on FAI. Mike was on the committee as well of the Warwick Agreement around FAI. So we have a 1-hour podcast with him as well. So you can listen to that as well.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Oh yeah, there was something that caught my eye. It was, let me just go ahead and do that. I really just gotta go on here, because there were there was this reel, right, that featured it went quite viral in the physio world.
That was really funny.
Okay, let me just.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. I just gotta change. Okay, I hope you guys could hear it. Put a thumbs up in the chat. Sorry, Instagram, you couldn't see it, but I'll post it again into our story so you can check it out there. It was just like a really funny reel that featured Kai, that features Kai's voice. It stays golden.
Yeah, there's another question.
And I got to figure out a way how we can talk over this iPhone input. There was another question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tony Backwood says, good question. Is there any learning resources that you two would suggest for novice physiotherapists to think of what treatment might be best for the patient and modify it? Yeah, I think that's also what we asked ourselves when we finished our studies and also when we finished our masters, like what kind of basic courses could we provide? Because as you might know, we are our own target group, and that's how we designed and created our products. We said, okay, there's many specialist courses out there. Let's create an online course that is relatively basic and would be perfect for a newly graduate or someone who's in their last year or just out of school for like 1 or 2 years. And it's called Physiotherapy of the Upper and Lower Extremities, where the goal was to cover everything around the 23 most common pathologies we see in extremities, and look at the evidence of, okay, how do you screen in this area? How do you or increase the knowledge of the epidemiology? So based on a person's age, gender, occupation, sports that they do, how likely is a certain diagnosis? How do you assess a certain pathology, and how do you treat it, or how do guidelines and what does the evidence say? How do you treat a certain pathology? So we created that course to lay a really good foundation of evidence and to give people a guideline for clinical reasoning. So it's also our most popular course. I think, it's almost 1,200 students enrolled now. And we followed that up 3 years later by the orthopedic physiotherapy of the spine course, which goes quite into depth because there's less pathologies in the spine, but it's basically doing exactly that for the spine as well. I think an area that is even taught less, or where the experience and the knowledge is a bit less. That was at least our experience.
666 students.
Yeah, the devil's
the devil's number.
But those courses are amazing for that. So they're relatively broad, and they lay a good foundation.
And they are very well received. So there's tons of reviews for these courses as well, and go check it out.
There's also a different question about how do you approach people who are in pain after car accident, general soft tissue pain, usually back pain, no injuries to speak of. I don't think any different, although I think with whiplash, even though neurological deficits or structural damage is excluded, they may be more sensitive in the beginning. But if you look at guidelines, for example, in the past in the Netherlands, there were two guidelines. One, I think, was for whiplash, separately from neck pain. And I think now there's even a newer version of the neck pain guideline, but even the last guideline before already took those two groups together. So the general treatment recommendations are not different for those two. And also, okay, so it says, hello guys, I wanted to say thank you for all the work. You're welcome. It's really amazing. Again, you're welcome. I think Chat CPG will help a lot to have an overview about the best guidelines for specific diagnosis. Yeah, it's like your AI assistant. If you have any questions, it has all the knowledge that our website has. It has all the knowledge of the guidelines, so you can ask it anything. It's like a clinical instructor next to you who is basically like an encyclopedia of knowledge. And like someone pointed out, it's maybe not perfect, but it can answer like so many great questions. And go ahead, check out the app on desktop or the App Store or Google Play Store, and check it out, play with it, and enjoy it. All right. We talked quite a lot about stuff that we did. And the last thing we said we were going to do, because usually we had like some private questions for each other. Now we said, okay, what we'll do is we take a look at the reviews that we got for our app, which is always kind of funny because it's either 5 stars or it's 1 stars.
Yeah, but let's check out what's the reviews from September or from since May. So let's see. Let's start on Google Play. Okay, let's go. Okay, so this was since May. So someone from Spain said, "Very good application. Thank you. Best app around for physiotherapists." It's also always cool to see, where these people were. So it's on version 1.2.4. Oh yeah, translate. It could be in Portuguese. Okay, so like we also on Google Play we get emails for every review that's written about the app because we really want to know what's going on.
I'm always holding my breath when I
Yeah.
get a notification.
But you can rest assured, either one of us sends a screenshot on WhatsApp to each other.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're not an app developer or a publisher of apps, or basically anything, reviews are hugely important. And every review is also a signal, of course, to the app stores on how your app performs in search results, or if it's recommended next to other apps based on user behavior. It's just like on Instagram. There's an algorithm behind it. You like stuff or not. You send stuff. You write a review. It affects us negatively. And the problem in these cases is someone writes a review of 1 star that the app could be in Portuguese, when in fact it is available in Portuguese. And usually when you download the app, it recognizes your system language and then shows when Portuguese is available, that you can use it. The problem, I think, with Portuguese could be that your system language is in Brazilian Portuguese or in European Portuguese, and then it fails to recognize, okay, is the app really available in Portuguese? But it is, because it's also listed as so in the app stores. The entire presence of the app is in Portuguese, so she could see that it's actually available. And then we reply and we ask someone to remove that review, but they never go ahead. They never go ahead and do it. So we're stuck with a 1-star review.
No, we had one guy remove it.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, I was in touch with one person who gave us a 1-star review because it didn't agree with a review in the app, and he didn't realize that he was giving a 1-star review of the app. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So that was a first. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick comment. GGGG says, "Hello guys, I want to thank you so much. You've helped me in my clinics with the tests and evaluation." Yeah, you're welcome. If you want to thank us or support us, we said it. Also support yourself and your progress. Get the app. It's free.
Exactly. Just use it for free.
Yeah.
Like there's
if you want to give back, become a premium member, but also enjoy a lot of awesome stuff in the app. So it's not like a donation. It's
No.
It's for your own good.
Exactly. Because as Dr. Muhammad Ramail Asha Khan says, it's the #1 app for physiotherapy exercise with special test treatment details. So you've heard it here first. Okay. Genial. What else? Best app. Thank you for creating this platform. Thanks a lot. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So, you know that the Physiotutors app is not our. You might know that it's not the first app that we've published. We actually have 2 other apps since 2018, 2019. No, 2018.
Yeah. Okay. If you say so.
I think so. Yeah. In the app stores. No, way before 2016.
No. Really? No,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, the book we published the book 2015, and then half a year later we launched the assessment app. So yeah, we've had 2 apps, an assessment app and a manual therapy app on the app stores, which was like a one-time purchase, yours forever, we updated the app regularly, and we are gonna pull these apps from the app stores. We're gonna stop selling them starting at the end of this year. So we're phasing out the app because we are also not developing the apps anymore. And all of the content from these apps has migrated to the all-encompassing Physiotutors app. But what we've done, because we know people, they paid for this app, even though there's a ton of companies that change their business model to a subscription model, and they're like, all right, if you want to continue using it, you gotta hop onto the subscription. What we've done is everybody who purchased any of our 2 old apps, they can migrate their unlimited access over to the new app. So they can get unlimited access to either the assessment content or the manual therapy techniques, depending on which app they've previously purchased, and they can unlock unlimited access to these content types on the new app. So they can just open a different app and access that same content. They don't have to pay for a premium membership to get unlimited content to essentially something that they previously purchased. Like, that's our gift to people who supported us by purchasing one of our legacy apps, let's call them like that. And yeah, however, we do get 1-star reviews.
As a way to say thank you.
Exactly. And then he says, I like the prior assessment app more. This one has too many tools that I do not use. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, we understand that there can be technical difficulties where, maybe something goes wrong in the migration process, but I think anyone who's ever sent us an email is astounded by how responsive our team is. Like, within 24 hours, you have a reply. Like, I've ordered, different example, I've ordered garden lights, and one was faulty. They delivered it never worked. Like, it took them 4 days to reply to my request, to a ticket, like in customer service.
It's pretty good.
But that's, you say it's pretty good. Like, if there's an email that's lying around for 4 days from a customer who's paid for a product,
not even from a customer. I
right?
think we reply to everyone within 24 hours.
Yeah,
unless it's spam or
yeah, exactly.
shit.
Of course, but like, this is a customer. Like, there's within the 24 hours, he has a reply, and yeah, it's just like, it's a shame from an app developer's point of view, where because he does not use the tools, it makes it a bad app. And we know this review is never going to get removed, so it just pulls our average down. Yeah.
There's another comment. Volcanic Vikingo says, anecdote, I had a teacher scoff at us when he saw us watching your videos on a subject he was teaching, special tests and so on. He wasn't very popular anyway, laughing. Yeah, I mean, there's always the discussion that we had in the beginning, like especially when people said, hey, our teacher shows us this and that test differently.
Yeah, true.
Fair enough. I think we base all of the executions on the original, and that means the paper that was published on the test. I think as much as possible. And there's always going to be teachers or schools that teach it differently. Fair enough. If there's good reasoning for it, then so be it. Be aware that this probably changes the sense and specs of a test as well if you conduct it differently. But also, I mean, if your teacher says so and you need to pass an exam, yeah, I would stick with the teacher's version. And for the rest, I mean, yeah, go ahead with the version that makes sense. I think.
Or ask Chat CPG. Yeah, there we go. How to perform the Lachman test. There you go.
Yeah. No, so I think it's a discussion we had a couple of times ourselves, and just go with the school's version. And yeah, I think also we got like so much shit over the years,
Oh yeah,
especially when we started out. I mean, we were young physios as well, so yeah, we kind of took it as a feedback, and some videos we fixed even, or did like a couple of new versions. I think the record was like the anterior draw in the ankle with like 4 remakes or so.
yeah,
But yeah.
true. Yeah, if you need to pass an exam, stick with your lecturer.
Oh, that's a good comment. Guys, love your work. I'm a physio. I'm angry at physios who underload patients. I've been unable to find research papers on this. Can you help? I don't think there's a research paper, but I don't know if you listened to the podcast episode with Claire Mitchell, who is about S&C, who teaches about S&C in physio. She says it's one of the biggest issues. And funnily, I don't know if you actually attended maybe one of our live lectures that we give here and there at universities in the Netherlands and in Belgium, where we talk about the 5 things, or also the blog that I wrote. So it's the talk that we give is like the blog on steroids, about the top 5 things that go wrong in physio, and I think underloading is one of the 5 things. And it has to do with being afraid of overloading a patient, making their pain worse, because a lot of them come and they want to get rid of their pain or reduce their pain. And we're afraid to cause more pain in those patients. But yeah, it's a big issue, and has to do with the clinic settings as well, where you have like a couple of therabands and that's it. So yeah, it's a huge issue. Also, knowledge of physios about exercise prescription is pretty low in general, I'd say. And that's, yeah, it's a bit unfortunate, but I think what we learned in the gym about exercise prescription and working out was probably more than we learned as physios,
Mm.
which is an issue, of course. So that's also why we say, like, if you want to work with athletes, especially, make sure that you do the sports that the patients that you see a lot do as well. So I'm playing tennis. I see a lot of tennis players, so I can relate much better to the needs and demands of the sport. Also, in general, if you prescribe a lot of weightlifting exercise, it's just good to have a good background in that. So if you're a weightlifter yourself, or if you go to the gym regularly, it helps you so much. So it's just one of the things, besides from being healthier and stronger, which we recommend to every physio student and physio in general. So yeah, cool comment.
Yeah,
Okay,
signed.
yeah, you want to continue with the reviews in
I don't know.
on Apple, I guess.
On Apple,
Yeah,
that
we
could
still
be.
have like
Okay,
we're like 8 minutes over time
we're
already.
we're overdue.
Okay,
Yeah.
just okay, yeah. Bowie, our dog is my dog,
I don't
Penguin's
know. I
dog.
mean, it's the same story essentially. There's a lot less reviews on Apple. I mean, there's great ratings, like there's 400 something ratings, but reviews. Um, yeah, I think there's the overarching theme is that it's a shame that reviews are used as a way to express customer support. Like writing a review where an issue could have been fixed with customer support.
Yeah,
And there's an entire customer support section for the app, and there's an email that you can send your requests to, but that the app is rated poorly when something could have been fixed with customer support. Yeah.
yeah. Even
Like
if it's good feedback and it's fixed afterwards, it's never gonna get removed.
it
But it's
seems
also
good, but it's somehow unusable when you can't play the videos. And when there's no way we can reproduce such an error,
yeah, yeah,
but we get a 1 star and it stays here forever.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those
Pretty
are
pretty shitty ratings, I have to say.
no, like this.
Yeah,
Those are the
yeah.
those are
The worst.
the
You selected the
reviews.
worst.
No, it's like it's the reviews with um, the ratings with reviews, because if you see the ratings, there's like,
4.8, yeah.
you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good rating. So it's like people who really want to express their anger, they give 1 star and write a text.
Yeah, Bowie's done with the Hangout. There's a last question, which I can cover quickly. Do you have videos on manual muscle testing grades with grades 2 and 4? No, just a general Bowie. Just a general video on MRI testing and how
MRC.
MRC testing and how it works in general, but not for certain muscle groups. So sorry for that.
Oh, we still need to give a quick update on what people can expect.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, but you have to mention that it's the staging version. That's why you don't see any thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
of course. Yeah. I gotta. So this is our test, a test version of the app. So there's no images to keep it a little bit more lightweight. But this is just an outlook. We're still testing this new build of the app, where there's a new feature. And it's all around on mobile and on desktop, all about improvements for the library. So whereas before you could set, you see some of the articles, they have this, they have a bookmark icon. So before you could bookmark icons and they would land in your library down here, and you would see them just chronologically. But we've gone ahead and added a lot more granular control on how you use bookmarks. And the first one is the library, which was a premium feature, is going to be free for everybody. And good news to those on a free membership who have set bookmarks, we kept those in the background. So once the library is unlocked, you will see stuff that you've bookmarked, which you couldn't access before on a free membership. But what you can do now when setting a bookmark, similar as to what you might know from Instagram, you can add content pieces to a collection. So I can add this to a new an existing collection, which is called Special, or I can add a new collection called, let's call it Insta, and save. And then it's added to this new collection. When I go into my library, then I have all bookmarks, which is just like the entirety of it, but I can also filter now on content type. So for example, those are my bookmarked research reviews, and before I had blogs, or I can show all. I can also bookmark certain add-on items, so assessment techniques or manual therapy techniques, and they will show up here. But then I also have my folders. So there's the Insta folder. Here's the special folder. And then, of course, we have up here the history, which just shows all of the content that I've accessed, just like your browser history, for example. And there's highlights. And for example, let's take a look at this research review. Here you can see some highlights, but what are those? So what you can do now on text content in the app is you can go ahead and highlight certain passages of a research review. And these are then stored in the highlights section per article item. So essentially what you can do for a research review, which usually takes like 9 minutes to read, you can summarize it for yourself and have this nice little summary of your text snippets. And you can share those, and you can also directly jump back to an article. And in here, let me just quickly go to a different research review and make like 2 highlights over here and make like 1 over here. So if I then go to my library and the highlights, you also see in the top right a counter. So it shows you how many highlights you have set in a certain article. But it's just like a nice way to summarize highlights of a certain article for yourself, and then also make the library way more personal to yourself by categorizing blogs, research review, or all content that you can bookmark on our app, lectures, in certain folders. So you could make a folder if you're really into FAI. You can bookmark all of the content around FAI into your own folders. So this is a really cool update. It works both on the app and also on the desktop. So whether you're on your laptop or on your mobile device, you can use these folders and highlighting features across the Physiotutors app. And there's a desktop update for the podcast. Whereas before it was just streaming from Libsyn, which is just the distributor of our podcast. We will have the same podcast functionality as in the app, where you can continue listening to a podcast and browse other areas of the app as well. And you can listen to the multi-language episodes on the web as well, and not only within the app. So those are two big updates, and hopefully we'll be able to push the Turkish version as well with that same update. But we're still testing, ironing out some minor glitches. But we hope to be able to release it, or we will release this update this month. So in September, there should be an update ready to be released.
Okay, and with this being said,
yeah,
I think we can conclude this Hangout session. As always, thanks a lot for everyone joining. Thanks a lot for the thank you notes that you guys left. That's been quite a lot, and we appreciate it. Remember that Physiotutors is more than just YouTube videos about special tests. It's so much more. So make sure to check out the app. Last shout out for the app.
Yeah, it's just free. It's free.
Yeah.
And we love it.
Are your podcasts available to Spotify? Yes, also on Spotify. Better to check them out on the app, because there you have the multi-language if you want that. And transcripts and infographics if you're a premium user. So, okay, I'd say let's round it up. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Thanks for the hearts on Instagram as well.
Or day if you're watching from somewhere in America. But we'll talk to you in the next Hangout, which will be in about 3 months.
Yeah, around December-ish.
Okay.
All right. Talk soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.